6.
Oh.
I felt that one last night.
So close to
I felt that one last night.
close to the border.
179 soon, man. I felt shit yesterday.
You felt shit the past 2 days.
That's why I knew something was happening. A drop was coming.
That's how you know it's on its way.
Yeah.
Couch
what's even a
potato.
couch potato like that? I don't want to move anyway.
I kept asking him like, are you okay? Are you okay? Are you okay?
I'm not okay. No, the thing is, I was okay. Just when I'm feeling it, it's not necessarily down to me being hungry. I just
Go quiet.
got a bit quiet. I weren't even that hungry.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, I could have ate, but I weren't starving. But yeah, new low this morning, 181.6. I felt that coming over the past 2 days. Sat on the settee like a couch potato, feeling fucked. That for me is when I know I'm probably going to be dropping weight. Tash getting worried, thinking I'm not all right, asking me if I'm all right, but I'm just there. I'm just chilling. I'm there in body. I'm there in spirit. But somewhere, my head is somewhere else. Probably thinking about a cookie pie slice, which she had right next to me. Oreo, Nutella, cookie pie, or cookie slab from Batched. Unreal. If you've never heard of Batched, if you're from Nottingham, they've got one in the city centre. If you're from Leeds, they've got one in the city centre. Get yourself down and have one. I won't be having one for about 16 weeks now. Embrace the suck. Embrace the shitty feeling that you get when you do experience lows. Because the weight held across this week, I was 182.2 or 182.6, just hovering between those two weights. And then past 3 days, it's been 182.2. And then now, it decides to drop. We decide to drop. I will take it. I will take it. At the gym. We're at the gym, so we're going to do some cardio. So 30 minutes is on the cards on the Stairmaster. So rest day, so I don't necessarily do cardio on a rest day. I could do it 5 times across the week, 30 minutes at a time. I just schedule it across the week for when it's going to suit me best at the moment. So with having a bit of a 2-day buffer, all I do is I plan it all out at the beginning of the week, and I know when exactly I'm going to be doing my cardio across the week to be able to hit the 5 days. But yeah, we're here now. I'm going to get cardio done, get 30 minutes boxed off on the Stairmaster, and yeah, actually looking forward to it now. Weirdly, when I do cardio, especially if it's in the morning, the one thing I hate doing is waiting till like the back end of the day to do cardio, which is why it will never get done at the back end of the day. I remember doing that in my last prep, waiting sometimes to the back end of the day to do cardio. Fucking nightmare. You don't have to do it fasted, but with the things that we've got into play, obviously with the lipolytics involved, fat burners, they do play a role with being more beneficial when you are fasted, and then you do cardio in a fasted state. You are going to reap more benefits and more rewards from doing that. But obviously, for the most part, if I couldn't do it in the morning, if I couldn't do it fasted in the morning, it doesn't matter. It's not the end of the world. Weight is coming down anyway. But yeah, there will come a point where we want to make the most of every single opportunity that we can, and every single minute detail to be able to get the most out of every single day. But yeah, 181.6 this morning. 181.6. Oh, where have we gone? Yeah, happy with that. Happy with that. I felt it, like I said, over the past 2 days. It's been nuts. Been nuts. I've just been sat there in the evening like, whoa. Not mega hungry. I could eat, but not mega hungry. Just like, where has my energy gone? So yeah, you could just tell when you feel like that your body's doing something. Not the end of the world, you just got to deal with it. Just got to fucking suck it up. Suck it up and embrace it. But yeah, definitely feeling tighter. Even though the weight was holding, I was definitely becoming a little bit tighter across the week. And I even did a bit of a comparison between photos on my Instagram, and then also did a bit of a comparison on my Instagram as well from last year, before we started prep last year, to yesterday, where it's the exact same weight, 182 pounds. So around the exact same weight, 182, 182.1, 182.2. So pretty much the exact same weight. And there's a comparison. The power of growing, the power of getting uncomfortable in an off season, the power of eating food and progressively overloading with your training. It fucking works. Do the cardio because we've got a busy day ahead. We've got some client check-ins that we need to get done when we get home, and then we've got a massage booked in at 3:30, and then obviously I'm going to be taking you through the whole day with me. Fancy seeing you here. Done and dusted. 30 minutes, just like that. So starting off at about 7 on the Stairmaster in terms of level 7. Getting it up nice and fast, getting the heart rate up, and then getting a nice little sweat on. And then, whew, and then we just taper it up and down. Depends on how I feel, depends on if I want to get the heart rate up a little bit more. I don't actually track my heart rate at the moment when I'm doing cardio. I'm pretty good at guessing where I am based off how I feel and based on my breathing, and I'll know when I'm above 120. But that initial stage of getting onto a Stairmaster or any sort of cardio kit, piece of cardio kit, I want to get it up as fast as possible. So one thing that I see a little bit too much in terms of cardio is getting it done, but the first 10 minutes keeping your heart rate within 110, 115, under 120 beats per minute. That ain't cardio. It's not cardio. It's probably what people experience if they go on the treadmill to do an incline walk, or they'll do the cross trainer and they'll keep it steady for like the first 10 minutes. But the thing is with cardio, you want to make sure that you make the most of every single minute. So for the first couple of minutes for me, it's all about getting it up and getting my heart rate up as fast as possible. Then when it's there, I can sit around level 6 and my heart rate's going to stay nice and high. But sweating, so my eyes look red as shit right now. We're going to get back. We're not going to have a meal yet. So what time is it? Time is 7:20 in the morning. We're not going to have a meal just yet. I generally like to wait a little bit. I like to push that first meal back as long as I can, obviously to let the clen do its thing. But yeah, just to get at least 2 litres of water in before we actually start and have our first meal. And then once we have the first meal, enjoy it a little bit more. But again, there's no crazy scientific tactic between doing fasted or eating within a certain time frame or not. I just like to push my first meal back a little bit later. And for those that are wondering, I don't have a watch, you'll notice that. How do I track my steps? Oura Ring. The Apple Watch was shit. It died every probably 13, 14 hours. And that it was a newer watch as well. So made the investment of an Oura Ring, and it lasted. This lasts about 5 days, 6 days before it needs charging. So I can just track my steps across the day and see where I end up across the week. And then when it does get to the point of being low, it's charged within an hour. So if you are someone that's willing to make the investment, get an Oura Ring. Be careful, you will have to pay importation tax, which I didn't realise. So I had to pay another 60 quid on top of what I already paid to get the ring over to me. But yeah, worth it in my opinion, because you can just wear it all the time. You wear it all the time, your watch, you'll take off at certain points in the day, potentially. But for me, it was the battery life that got me. So battery life on this is so much better. But yeah, I'm going to get back, get client check-ins done. And then we'll probably have our first meal around 10, 11. Yes, Big H, how are we doing, bro? We're going to go through check-in now. So, good week, very good week overall. Obviously, this is what things were looking like, 2 weeks ago now? Technically, from last Sunday to now, it's a 2 kilo drop. So we know the cardio is doing its thing right now, so we'll keep it at 35 minutes 4 times a week. Midsection is tightening up now. Legs are coming in a little bit more, arms are getting a bit more vascular. But yeah, any issues, any problems, bro, throughout the week, let me know, and I'll chat to you soon. Morning, Kyle, hope you're good, bro. Thank you for the check-in as always. So I'm going to go through your check-in now. So the omelette's cooking now. That's probably going to be in there for another 5 to 8 minutes or so. Then we're going to be banging that in the oven. Toasted bagels are going to be banging as well. Can't wait for them. But yeah, what I thought I'd touch on. Obviously, client check-ins get done on a Sunday and a Monday. So Monday check-ins have already been boxed off for the morning. And again, that's why I like to start the day nice and early to be able to get whatever I need doing done. So cardio done in terms of my own bodybuilding, but then also get back, crack on with work, and then we can get into the first meal. But I don't actually get any food in until my work is done. But obviously once I'd finished all my work, and I was like, right, I know it's a little bit earlier than usual, but I'm hungry, then I'm not just going to sit there and wait. I'm just going to eat it. With client check-ins, I think sometimes it's a little bit of it's something that people don't still understand with online coaching. So I'll explain what my clients get when it comes to working with me one-to-one. So in client check-ins, if you've ever worked with an online coach, a check-in is every online coach gives a check-in. It's going to be your training feedback, it's going to be nutritional feedback, and obviously looking through your diary. It's going to be looking over the week as a whole, your wins, your struggles, and just finding out what it is that you've done over the course of the week to get you moving forwards based off what we set in the previous week. So I like to be able to do things in a way what's structured. I've tried not to waffle on too much in check-ins, and I've got better at that over time. As you've noticed in the videos, I do love a waffle. But what I'll do is I'll make notes. I'll make notes of everything that they've done, that they've talked about, the wins, the struggles, and then we'll go into the changes. But then I'll look through previous pictures, do little comparisons where needed, and go through everything that I possibly can to be able to, one, give them some sort of feedback on how they're getting on, how long they've got left in a particular phase, whether that's a fat loss phase, a diet break, a gaining phase. Each client that I've got is going to be different based off of what their goal is and where they're at. But yeah, we'll look over the check-in form. I'll make the notes. I'll do little comparisons with the pictures if I need to. That sounds like it's burning. Give me 2 seconds. I'll then go through the daily habits, which is just like a habit tracker sheet, which is on the app as well. They just track the habits across the week. The more frequent, the better. You can see the body weight, you can see the energy, the stress, the sleep, recovery, appetite. We can look at everything as a whole, and using that alongside the actual feedback that I get in the check-in form, we can decide on what changes we're going to make. So I can see what the food is that they've had across the week. That again, we'll look at the accuracy. If I can see that everything is done right and the adherence is there and we're not seeing no changes, that's when changes get made. And we'll have a discussion about why these changes are getting made. But also in terms of if we can look at adherence issues, we can look at maybe things that need tweaking in terms of how they can stick to the plan a little bit better, and then again, I'll give my tips and my feedback on how we can do that to be able to get us moving forwards, whether that's routine management, whether that's time management, whether that's making the most out of every single minute of your day. Those tendencies and how I approach it and how what I do that's actually helped me. But there's loads of things we talk about in a check-in. Loads of things we talk about in a check-in. It's not just giving a training plan. It's not just about giving them nutrition and making changes. Some people might need the accountability. Some people might need a kick up the arse. So I give them a nice, firm kick up the arse. Just my coaching style and the way that I do things is always to try and put back on the client what it is that they can improve on if there's something that they know they can improve on. How much time do you feel like you've got to commit to a day to be able to improve on certain things, X, Y, and Z? And then we can work on those. But I need to know in detail what it is that they can commit to, what it is that they're able to do to be able to improve adherence. And then you get those clients that do come in, that get a plan, get the training, get the nutrition. We just make changes week in, week out, and then they can see consistent progress. The ones that do see consistent progress, though, are the ones that do the daily habits, that do the weekly check-in on time. They log their tracking or log and track their food across the week. They log their training. For me, when it comes to coaching, it's about getting the most out of every single individual, getting the most out of someone. And if coaching was just a training program, a nutrition plan, every online coach would be the fucking same, because everyone gives a weekly check-in, gives a training plan, gives a nutritional protocol. Well, they should do anyway. I've heard some don't. But some just do fucking macros. But I base it off the client. I'll do a meal plan, I'll do macros. I'll base it off what they need and what they want and what they'll benefit from. And that for me is why I feel like my coaching service is different. It's the accountability, it's the support, and me understanding and resonating with certain issues. Because if you'd followed me for a while on my Instagram, I've come a long way physically, but it's the mental side of things. It's the confidence to talk on the camera, it's the YouTube videos, it's the Instagram reels, and bringing more personality out there, because that was the hardest thing to do. The hardest thing to be able to manage was my food intake and being consistent with that. My training, making sure that I'm training harder and actually looking to progress my training properly and being consistent with that as well. I was always consistent with the amount of days that I'd go to the gym, but there'd never be a consistency there with the routine. It'd just be like, right, we're gonna go in Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, might have Saturday off, we'll go on Sunday again. Now it's like, I've found a routine that works for me, and that's 2 days on, 1 day off. That's the process and the journey that I've been on. There are people that come to me that can just take on what I give them, and they can learn along the way, and they can improve pretty much week in, week out. But there's also people that come to me that need a bit more than just the initial plan to make progress. They don't make progress in the first couple of weeks because we need to manage issues and obstacles and set expectations of things that they know that they can stick to. And that's why every client's different, and the coaching experience is going to be different from person to person. Fuck me, it's warm today. So, currently 1,700 steps in. Thought I'd record this bit. Step in. Getting your steps in. Expenditure, daily expenditure through, well, just walking. It's a big factor that is overlooked with fat loss. For a lot of people, you can either focus on cardio or nutrition. You forget about the one thing that's going to drive up calorie expenditure across the week, and that's going to be the amount of steps that you do, the amount of movement that you do. And for me, you might relate to this, I'm a lazy boy at heart. I won't just happily go out for a walk around the block. I don't have a dog yet, me and Tash don't have a dog yet, so I can't just get the lead on the dog, go out for a nice little walk, nice little stroll. Don't have a dog yet. So, what do? Instead? We get on the walking pad. I will go out for a walk on a nicer day. On a day where it's a bit shit, I'd rather just walk on the walking pad. But this particular thing right here, for those that work at home, it's going to be a game changer. This is going to be something for you what can get you away from the laptop for 5 minutes, get you away from work for 5 or 10 minutes. This 10, 15 minutes every few hours will make a massive contribution towards how many steps you're getting in across the day. When I'm not at the laptop, I can still do a little bit of work. For me, social media is work. Replying to clients is a part of my work. Going through any posts, potential posts that I could be posting, is a part of my work. It's how I make my money. But for you, it might just be a case of stepping away from the laptop, stepping away from work completely, putting your phone down and getting on the walking pad for a bit and getting your steps in. If you're currently doing 3,000, 4,000 steps and you're trying to place a lot of your expenditure around cardio, there's only going to be so many minutes in a day that you can spend doing cardio at the gym, whilst you might be able to have a lot more time available to be able to do more steps. Back from the massage, that was well and truly needed that big time. But yeah, we're going to go into the actual, well, title of the video, ways to get shredded. What do you need to focus on? What I'm going to mention with the videos, I want there to be some substance behind the videos. Substance? I want there to be some substance behind the videos. I want there to be a topic that we're going to talk about in each one, not just a day in the life every single week or a full day of eating every single week. And a full day of eating is all well and good when I'm having changes to the diet, but it's a rest day and my food is the exact same as what it was 2 weeks ago. Yeah. So if you want to know what I'm actually eating or what I was eating 2 weeks ago, then check out the previous video or one of the previous videos. But yeah, what do you need to focus on to get shredded? Let's get into it. Time frame is going to be massively important for everyone. You need to understand how long you're going to be pushing for. Set yourself a time frame of how long you're going to be dieting for. If you've never been shredded or lean before, you're not really going to have a particular time frame in mind in terms of, right, if I lose X amount of body weight per week, it's probably going to take me this long, because you've never been there, so you don't know. So the more time that you give yourself, the better. If you're someone that knows you can get lean in 12 weeks, then do it in 12 weeks. But for the most part, if you're wanting to get extremely lean, more time's better anyway. I could get lean in 12 weeks. I could get shredded in 12 weeks. But it don't mean it's always the best thing to do, because you put yourself in a bit of a sacrificial position, because you might have to push food down a little bit harder, you might have to do more cardio a little bit early on, and you might sacrifice yourself to lose a little bit of muscle. So having a longer time frame is going to be better for most people, purely based off the fact that you can keep food higher for a longer period of time. You'll have the ability to be able to get ready earlier, so that means that you can fill out a little bit. And if we're talking about a photo shoot or a competition prep, getting ready early is important. If it's just a general diet to get extremely lean, you might just need little refeeds here and there to get things moving and keep your body happy, to allow the deficit to do its thing. Because once your deficit is deficiting and your metabolism starts to get adjusted to the amount of food, sometimes we need a bit of a reset, a day or two, eating higher amounts of carbohydrates. So for you guys, then it's more so about just having a little refeed here and there when needed. But again, this is why having a coach or someone to be able to watch what you're doing, or keeping track of the variables yourself that you need to track, which I'll talk about, is going to be massively important for you. Not throwing all your eggs in one basket. That's another one. By the way, if you see me looking down, I made some notes. It's not paragraphs, it's just little notes of topics. That's it. Not to throw your eggs in one basket. All your eggs need to be put in at individual times. Yeah, when I say individual eggs, I mean cardio, steps, food. Okay, they're the three tools that you're going to play with. The first one is going to be food. Food is always going to be key. You want to start yourself off in a position where you are maybe eating at maintenance. Find your maintenance point. At least then, you know that you've got the ability to pull back. And once you find your maintenance point, you need to be consistent. You can't just be inconsistent with your maintenance. Say, for example, you're having calories across the week and then they vary day to day, and then your body weight maintains. It's hard for you to really know what your maintenance calories are because food is going to be inconsistent. So you need to at least either come up with an average or keep food sources consistent for a little bit to be able to find that maintenance point. But it gives you a longer runway for progression. A longer runway for progression means that you can pull back slower, increase cardio at a slower rate, and you're not going to throw yourself under the fucking bus. Understand, hunger is normal. Hunger in a diet, in a fat loss phase, especially if you're looking to get shredded, lean, whatever, it is going to be normal. I'm hungry today. I could eat more today, but you got to realise it is going to happen. You're going to be hungry, but you need to really be ready for that. Really be ready for that and embrace it. Embrace it. Hunger means that your body is going to be doing something. Early on, you might not be hungry. You might be in a place where you don't even necessarily think too much about the diet. Don't feel bad. You're productive. You feel good. And you don't think about food too much. But eventually, hunger's going to be there. Mentally, you need to be there. You need to be ready. You need to be able to push or be ready to push as hard as you physically can. If you want to diet and really diet and lose a fuck ton of body fat, a load of body weight as well, it's going to be hard. And mentally, you need to be in a position where you're ready to do what it takes. Whether that be pull the food back a decent amount, whether that be do more cardio, whether that be do more steps, whatever it takes, or all of the above. You mentally have to be willing to do it. And if you don't need to do that to get there, great. Some people might only need 30 minutes of cardio 5 times a week, 4 times a week. Some people don't even have cardio. Some people just focus on steps. Some people don't even need to get the food that low. They're still going to be hungry, but food don't need to go that low. But it all depends on the person. It depends on what they were doing previously, what habits they had in place. All of these things matter. So push as hard as you can, and then remember, it's not a forever thing. A diet and a fat loss phase is not a forever thing. So push yourself and take yourself out your comfort zone. Less food doesn't always equal more. It's counterintuitive to what I kind of just said, because I said that you might need to dig with food a little bit lower. But what I mean is, less food for a majority of a diet, in terms of if someone starts really low and continues to trickle it down to a point where it's really low, and I'm talking like they start like 1800 and continue to try and trickle it down across the weeks, that doesn't mean you're not going to hit a plateau. That doesn't mean that you're going to all of a sudden be a fat burning machine and lose all this fat and look like a fucking Greek god. All it means is you're probably going to bury yourself into a bit of a hole. You're probably going to feel shit. You're probably going to have a lot less energy. You're probably going to put yourself into a position where you're not eating enough to be able to maintain muscle mass, especially if you do it over a period of time, because you need to lose more body weight or more body fat to get there. Less food isn't always the answer. Sometimes you need a little bit more food, or you need various different days. So training days, rest days, or training days, rest days, high days across the week as well. You can do these things. You can separate the amount of calories that you're having dependent on the day. That always helps. But less food don't always equal more. And for someone who starts a little bit lower, it's not a bragging right. It's not a bragging right because you're eating 1,500 calories a day, bro. If you're eating more on a diet and losing a lot of weight very quickly, that's more impressive. That's more impressive because it means you get to eat more for longer and you still get to feel all right without feeling like a bag of fucking shit. And the final one, macros matter. Macros fucking matter. It's not just about calories. It's about the quality of the food that you're having, the food sources. So keeping your protein at 1.6 grams to 2.2 grams per kilo of body weight, that's just generally going to be the average. But to be honest, the more the better. The more the better. Protein is going to be one of those things where for most people, sitting within that range is going to be perfect. But if you can get away with having a higher amount of protein and it doesn't affect your digestive system, and you are someone that eats a lot of protein anyway, go for it. But for most people, and most of you lot watching this video, you're probably going to be better off sitting between the range of 1.6 grams to 2.2 grams per kilo of body weight. Okay? Nice and simple. Keep it there. If you're not used to tracking your protein intake, start at 1.6, taper it up. If you're used to tracking your protein intake, sit on the higher end at 2.2. It's the easiest way you can go about it. And that's the best way, that's the thing that's going to keep you fuller. It's going to keep training performance better in terms of recovery. And you're going to be able to maintain a lot more muscle mass as well during the diet, which is what we all want. Carbohydrates again, and fats. Carbohydrates and fats. Carbs are going to be your main fuel source. Carbohydrates, you want to keep them as high as possible for as long as possible, ideally. Because that's going to be the thing that gives you energy. That's going to be the thing that makes you feel good. That's going to be the thing that keeps your training performance fucking sick. So we need to make sure that that stays as high as possible for as long as possible. And if it needs to come down, that is the main thing that we pull down. Protein, keep it at baseline. Set yourself a target, keep it there. Carbohydrates, we are always going to use that as the primary source of food that we are going to pull back on. So less rice, less potatoes, less cereal, no more squares bars, all of that shit. It all makes a difference. But then in terms of fats, generally what I say with fats is going to be 0.5 grams per kilo of body weight. So for someone who's 80 kilos, 40 grams as a minimum. And I'm not talking about your chocolate bars. I'm not talking about your Snickers bars or your squares bars, the fact that you're getting your squares bars. I'm talking about actual proper fat sources that are going to help your hormones, that's going to help your hormonal health, that's going to help regulate how you feel, energy. It does have a contribution towards that as well. And you're not going to feel like a bag of ass. So, yeah, that's a new one. But you're 85% and above dark chocolate. Anything less than that, it ain't doing nothing for you, bro. Avocados, olive oils, use these sparingly in a diet, to be honest. But my main sources is going to be, I'll tell you mine, what I'm using on prep right now. 85% dark chocolate. Peanut butter or almond butter. Avocado. I'm not having fatty fish at the moment, but smoked salmon or salmon fillet would be my go-to. And eggs. They're going to be some quality fats that you can get in your diet. It's nice and easy to eat. They all taste good as well. And, well, some people don't like avocado, but if you make it right, make avocado right, it's nice. But yeah, the quality of your fats matters. But all three macronutrients put together matters. When it comes to making adjustments, protein stays the same, fats will stay the same, carbohydrates will come down. Eventually carbohydrates get pretty fucking low, and then you've got to pull back from somewhere because you can't take your carbs any lower. So for that person, it might be you pull down the protein, you keep fats at baseline, or you pull down the fats slightly. But when it comes to fats, it is one of them where, for the most part, for most people, no, for everyone, I want to keep as high as possible for as long as possible. And I don't mean high as in 80 grams, 90 grams, just within the range that's going to make them feel good, that's going to actually keep their hormones in check. But eventually, when someone is looking to get extremely lean, you might find that the fats do have to come down a little bit. But for the most part, anywhere between 0.3 grams to 0.5 grams per kilo of body weight is where we're probably going to be sitting. Ways to get shredded. That's what you was all waiting for. That's going to be it from me, guys. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. If you do enjoy this style of content, make sure you drop the channel a subscribe, like the video. It's a bit of a weird one just doing a sit down thing like this, because I don't know if anyone likes it. I don't know if anyone will actually listen to me for the full duration or full 13 fucking minutes of me talking. So if you do like this style of content, let me know. If you don't, I'll know by the viewer count anyway. But if you do like it, please like the video, drop me a subscribe. Look forward to more of these, and I will see you in the next one.